So our friends at Bet MGM sent us quite a few betting insights that they have gathered here over the last few weeks. We've got win total line movement changes from when they opened earlier this summer to now. We have a bunch going up and only a few going down. We've also got the most bet overs and unders.
I love
which
that
is fascinating.
Colorado's both over and under.
We'll start here. Colorado's has not moved. Colorado's has been at 5.5, but it is the most bet over and the most bet under, which is the Deion effect. The public has an opinion on Deion, and this is just, I like Deion. It's like you're voting for or against Deion, basically.
Yeah, if you have any question about how impactful Deion Sanders has been to the sport, just look at how often people bet on Colorado. People just love betting on Colorado. And this is a difficult bet. Like, for it to be the most bet thing. Like, are you certain of either of those things? Like, you and I.
No, 5.5 is right about where that number should be, with us not knowing, what their quarterback situation is going to be necessarily. Like, I don't think they're going to fall off the table, but I don't think they'll be as good as they were when they had Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders.
I know, but 6-6 seems like a pretty safe bet to me. I would take the over on that.
Is it?
I don't know. Is it not?
The Big 12's so evenly matched.
That's what makes it great. They don't have any games they're 100% going to lose.
But they also won't 100% win them.
I mean, Georgia Tech's a pretty tough opener. They get it at home. And
Delaware,
Wyoming,
those are their other non-conference.
There's what? How many games on the schedule can you say are absolute wins?
Delaware. Probably
you
Wyoming.
almost said Wyoming. I wouldn't say that.
Okay, I won't say Wyoming. Would you say Arizona?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. But I wouldn't say that for Houston, BYU, TCU, Iowa State, Utah, West Virginia, Arizona State, or K-State. But I would not consider those absolute losses for Colorado either.
Sanders, I don't know how to say this without coming across as insensitive, but I'm just going to say it and just trust that I'm not being insensitive. How much of the discombobulated offseason as Deion Sanders has gone through his health stuff scares you in terms of how on the same page they're going to be? Not at all or a little? Not
really, because I do think if you look at the way that staff handled last year, I thought they were pretty good. It seems like they're a pretty good staff. I'm not that worried about that.
I was going to say, hasn't Deion Sanders at least garnered some respect from the general public that he actually knows how to assemble a team that's pretty well coached?
Yeah, I think so.
The over-under bets in his first year where it's like, oh, this is just a clown show. We have a mega personality who just has no real coaching experience at this level. His only qualification for being Colorado's head coach is being famous. And now I think he's put enough on tape on the field to know that he's going to play functional, disciplined football. The under is just oh, they suck. Is I don't know that I would feel it could hit.
But the under, I'm not thinking 5-7 is not sucking necessarily in the Big 12. In the Big 12, 5-7 is a couple bounces didn't go your way.
Yeah. I think that people hit the under hard the first year because they thought that they was just going to be a scam. And if you're hitting,
they also had to play Oregon and Utah, and Utah was a favorite to win to compete for the league title. They had a very tough schedule, and they were coming off a 1-11 season.
I just don't know what do you look at and say, what is the reason Colorado will lose 8 games or 7 games this year?
The reason is they play a bunch of coin flip games and they get unlucky.
But I think coin flip games are good for overs.
I think they go either way. That's the whole point.
But with a regular schedule, would you rather have a schedule with 3 automatic wins and 3 automatic
coin
losses,
flips,
or coin flips?
Coin flips, obviously.
So I don't know, but I don't know that I feel strongly about either of those two, things. And to be honest, people are pretty high on Georgia Tech this year, and that they're going to be a pretty tough out. And Colorado's only catching 3 at home.
Yeah,
to start the season off. That's not like they're a 10-point dog.
Yeah. So I think this is a tough one, which is why I wouldn't touch it, which is why it's funny to me that it is the number one bet. Because I wouldn't touch this with 10-foot pole. I don't know what's going to happen with them. The number 2 over and the number 2 under are fascinating to me. LSU's the number 2 bet over 8.5 wins. Michigan is the number 2 bet under 8.5 wins. If I looked at the 2 schedules, I would probably favor the idea of Michigan going over. But also, if LSU is as good as like JD Piquel is predicting, this is an easy over.
Yeah, Michigan and LSU both have really tough non-conference games. So there isn't like a schedule balance here. Obviously, it's SEC, Big Ten, but Michigan plays Ohio State, and I believe they play Oregon, don't they?
They don't play Oregon. They
play USC. Sorry, that was the West Coast game. But actually, Michigan's got a pretty favorable draw in the Big Ten because they don't have to play Penn State.
Which is why I'd say if we were just looking at schedules, I would go Michigan over rather than Michigan under.
Yeah, but also, too, I think that I am at a absolute intersection of like what Michigan football is. They won the national title 2 years ago. Do you think they're still that? Or are they 2015 Michigan? Really good, but not great.
But here's the thing, Ari. If they are that, they're still over.
Yeah.
Remember what did we say a few weeks ago? If a disappointing season still hits the over, bet the over.
I don't think 8-4. Do you think 8-4 would be disappointing? Do you think they would be
terribly disappointing to them?
Really?
Terribly disappointing to them. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I think that Michigan turned the corner to elite. But I think we all have taken for granted that Michigan is elite now. Like that's a fact. And I don't know if that's a fact.
I think the Ohio State win, and I think what they did against Alabama in a game where Alabama had most of their players and was certainly trying. I think that said to me, the culture's still intact in Michigan. They just need to figure out how to throw the ball, which
they also
certainly have taken steps toward that.
3 away games against Oklahoma, Nebraska, and SC in their first 6 games. Those are all pretty tough games on the road.
Well, I still think Michigan over 8.5 is a safer bet than LSU over 8.5.
On Michigan's under 8.5. I think that LSU is the better bet of the over. I would feel more comfortable taking that.
LSU's schedule is what gives me pause. I think Michigan's schedule is considerably easier.
Yeah. They don't play Georgia.
They're both at OU. LSU's at Clemson to start the season. Florida game's a must-win for both teams, so it's going to the intensity is going to be crazy. We both agree at Ole Miss is going to be harder than people think.
They have 4 automatic.
South Carolina coming for revenge. Texas A&M beat them last year. Alabama crushed them last year.
Yeah, 4 automatic wins. And then I think they'd have to get 5 other ones. But yeah,
so they have to win 5 more. Yeah. So you have to go 5-3 against Clemson, Florida, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Texas A&M, Alabama, Oklahoma,
and Vanderbilt.
I
didn't give them that as a guaranteed win.
Well, that's fair. That's fair. I don't want to discount Diego Pavia.
Yeah, Diego Pavia's aura is so strong that it's irresponsible as a human being to make them a Passover game.
Yeah, if you haven't watched episode 3 of the SEC documentary on Netflix, like I very much, even though I said Diego Pavia has the most aura of any QB in the SEC, I still underestimated it. Because you get the full picture of it when you see them practicing before Alabama and then beating Alabama.
You also have been very humble about how much you've appeared in this documentary.
I mean, I just talked and they picked what they picked.
The whole thing.
Well, I appreciate Seth Emerson, our friend from The Athletic, who he said I am the David Attenborough of college football, which I will take, like, because David Attenborough is 99 and he's still voicing nature documentaries. So, like, if you have 4K footage of some bird of prey swooping in and devouring a fuzzy little woodland creature, like, you call David Attenborough. And he's the red-tailed hawk patrols the skies over northern Colorado. It's a terrible accent. I'm sorry.
Did he write his own copy, you think?
I don't think he does. And I want to get to the level where I don't even have to write my own copy. I just show up and read it. That would be amazing.
It is kind of crazy to know that, like, if my life depended on it and you asked me who David Attenborough or whatever his name was like 5 minutes ago, who that was, that like I would have zero idea who that is. But then the second,
but if you heard his voice, you'd be like, I know that's the guy who does all the nature documentaries.
But like he is so iconic in his role as the nature guy that all you have to do is like watch 1 minute of any clip of any nature documentary ever made, and it's like it's that guy. And like now I know who that guy is. Yeah.
So if casting directors, if you would like me to be that person for college football, I am open to it. So you just let me know.
You could do that. I think you could do that.
It was a lot of fun reliving the season. And I think this season is going to be crazier than last season. So like I'm excited about that. All right, but while we're on the subject of these, I do want to look at the number 3 most bet over and number 3 most bet under, because also, okay, so Ohio State is the number 3 most bet over at 10.5. 11-1 Ohio State is, with them opening with Texas, this is a tricky bet.
They lost 2 games in the regular season last year and they won the national title.
Yeah, this is tricky.
And they didn't play Texas last year.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very tricky one because obviously they can make the playoff at 10-2.
Do you think they will lose 2 of the 3 to Texas, Penn State, and Michigan? That's the bet.
Replacing as much as they do on defense and having a new starting quarterback, like it's not outside the realm of possibility. This is
Ohio State does not lose to teams they should not lose to often. I think the last time they did was
at Purdue.
Iowa. Well, I guess last year if you count Michigan, but that's a realm of its own. I don't count Michigan.
Yeah, that's a different game.
But they certainly. I'm not saying they shouldn't have lost. They should have. That's not true.
You have to go back to the Urban Meyer era.
But you have to go back to Purdue or Iowa. I don't remember which one happened first. It was Purdue happened first, right? And then Iowa was second.
Well, no, there were 2 Iowa losses, I think.
No, there was one Iowa loss.
Okay, then no, the Purdue one was second. The Iowa one was first.
Yeah. So whichever one of them was second, that was the last time they lost a game that they shouldn't have to a Big Ten team like that. So, and I don't know, they didn't play Washington back then. You know, like there's other teams.
Washington's tricky.
Yeah.
And that's early in the season. Like,
I don't think Ohio State's going to go 1-2 in those games. So I like the over.
When you go back and you tell me that last year's team, and obviously I watched it, I know this happened, but like now that my mind is processing that last year's team went 10-2 in the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
And now I look at the schedule and I'm like, okay, this is not a safe bet. This doesn't feel
I'm
like
just trying to think about how it would have to play out. If they started off 0-2 against Texas and Penn State and then lost to Michigan, that would be an absolute disaster of a season for them.
But the thing is, 0-2, that 0-2 loses your bet already.
Oh, you're right.
They can still make the playoff.
You're right.
But you've lost your bet.
You're right. Yeah, they have to go 2-1 in those games.
Under 7.5 North Carolina. This is one I gave out when these lines opened. It's an easy schedule. But clearly, gamblers do not think Bill Belichick is just going to decided schematic advantage his way to a bunch of wins.
That's a brutally easy schedule.
Yeah. The Clemson game is very difficult. And obviously, you've got rivalries with Duke and NC State at the end of the year. But
they're playing a true road game at Charlotte.
I don't know if that might have been like a 2-for-1 situation.
Yeah.
Or no, is that in the Panther Stadium? Hold on one second. We gotta check.
I'm looking that up.
I'm not worried about Charlotte beating them, by the way.
I just typed in Charlotte, North Carolina into Google thinking that would bring up the football game. And it
brings up the city. Yeah, I would not worry about Charlotte beating UCF beating them is one that I'm curious because like the expectations are not high for UCF in the Big 12.
No, it's at Charlotte.
Okay.
A real road game, yeah.
Yeah. Now, obviously, a very important in-state recruiting territory for North Carolina. So
Yeah, that would be a bad look. I'm not putting any evil out there. I was just
no,
happy to
it's
see that.
listen. So the question is, can they go 8-4? And I find it interesting that gamblers, and I don't know if this is the most bet. So we're talking about the public probably versus sharps. So I don't know that you necessarily take anything away from this. I just find it interesting.
I mean, usually when you see the most bet, the thing that you should do is do the other thing.
Fade it. Yeah.
But yeah, I also too love that the most bet things are often tied to like polarizing figures. Ohio State's polarizing in their own right, but Deion Sanders, Bill Belichick, and Bryce Underwood in Michigan. Like, I mean, I feel like all of these teams.
And Kelly's also polarizing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, everything on this list here is like, what do fans talk about? You know, if you saw like the most bet thing was just like a random like Virginia Tech over under, like that would be like, why? But like, this is kind of on brand.
River, can we see the lines that moved up? So Alabama jumped from 8.5 to 9.5. Miami 8.5 to 9.5. Iowa, Mark Gronowski 6.5 to 7.5. Florida 6.5 to 7.5. Oklahoma 6.5 to 7.5. Okay, the Florida and Oklahoma ones in particular, I find this very interesting. And we said this looks low when these came out, but then you realize how bad those schedules are. It's still possible that those teams go 7-5 and you lose your bet.
Those are pretty big movements. Like when you see a game improvement, that's significant. I mean, the difference between 7-5 and 6-5 and 8-5 and 9-5 for Bama and Miami. I mean, these are pretty important movements. And I feel like, you know, if you bet Florida and Oklahoma over, you'll probably go 1-1. I don't know if they'll both do it this year. They don't play each other, right? But they do.
They don't. Florida and Miami play each other. I find that interesting. If you bet Miami over 9.5, I don't think you bet Florida over 7.5.
Yeah, I like one of those teams to break out and one of those teams to fall on their face. I just don't know which one it's going to be.
That's the trickiest part. It really is, because the schedules are brutal. You know, we talk about the DJ Lagway health factor with Florida. We talk about what does Oklahoma's offensive line look like, because I think that really will tell us. Like, we're not worried about Florida's offensive line. We're still worried about Oklahoma's. But if DJ Lagway's hurt, that's a different scenario. It's going to be a strange season. By the way, the Nico effect. So UCLA goes from 4.5 to 5.5.
That's electric.
Meanwhile, River, Tennessee drops from 9.5 to 8.5, which 8.5 still may be too high here.
Yeah, 9.5. Depending on when this movement happened,
people must have been hammering 9.5 under.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Tennessee were to go, I mean, they weren't going 10-2, right? Like, can we just be honest about it? They're not going to go 10-2, right?
I mean, there was that thought that they'd go back to the playoff. The schedule's pretty manageable. Tennessee, as SEC schedules go, it's not the worst. It's not easy, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, Oklahoma has the worst.
I think so too. I think the way Oklahoma's lays out makes it the worst. I think Florida's is really bad too. I think Mississippi State's is pretty terrible, and they aren't necessarily equipped to deal with it.